Then the Lord of Waters bethought himself of how to pay honor and reverence to the royal race of Ikshvaku, to which he was mightily indebted. Said he to himself, should I fail in bestowing help and hospitality to this lord of monkeys, Hanuman, the finger of scorn will be ever pointed at me. For I was brought into existence by the Emperor Sagara of the line of Ikshvaku, and this Maruti is a messenger of Rama, the best and mightiest of that kingly line. It becomes me not to stand by and see that he sinks under fatigue and weariness. So I must contrive that he rests here a while and crosses over the sea in no time. This decision of his proved of untold benefit to himself. He called out to the mountain Mainaka that lay hid in the waters with its peaks of gold and said, my dear friend, I hope you have not forgotten that Indra has placed you here as a barred fortress gate to prevent the Asuras from coming up from the nether world. Whenever they take it into their heads, the mighty demons, to force their way upwards, you stand in their path, covering the entrance to the nether world with your huge bulk. Besides, you have it in yourself to expand without limit, above, below, and on all sides. Hence, I depute you on this mission. O Lord of Mountains, bestir yourself. Hanuman, the monkey of peerless might, comes here flying through the air straight over you, bound on a quest connected with Lord Rama. I am ever on the alert to be of some service to the race of Ikshvaku, and will not miss this rare chance of doing my very best for this servant of theirs. Those monarchs are ever objects of my worship and reverence, and for that very reason you too are bound to serve and honor them to the best of your might. For this ocean has been fashioned by them, and you have taken refuge in it from the foe that thirsted for your life. Moreover, you have not forgotten the benefactor who brought you here, even the Lord of Air, and this Anjaneya is his darling child. Now, see ye not that it lies upon you to render every help and assistance to him? So conduct yourself accordingly. Let us not be found slothful and belated. Should we fail to give effect to our good intentions in time, the great and the noble ones will ever hold us in contempt and be angry with us. So rise up from your depths, induce Anjaneya to rest upon your peaks a while. He is our honored guest, worthy of all reverence, and the foremost of monkeys besides. O monarch of mountains, resplendent with your peaks of gold and ever honored by the gods, let Maruti rest himself a while upon you. He will cross over to Lanka the more quickly. Bethink yourself of the tenderness and pity that fills the heart of Hanuman towards Sita. Forget not that she has been torn rudely from the side of a beloved lord and placed in durance vile in Lanka. Bear in mind the inevitable fatigue and weariness that Anjaneya must feel, and please do as I have suggested to you. Menaka listened to it, and, like the Lord of Day rising aloft from the midst of cloud banks, crowned with his thousands of rays of gold, he emerged in no time from his watery bed with his wooded slopes, creepers, shrubs, and flowers. Coming up from the midst of the billows, he exposed to view his golden peaks, the resort of Kinnaras, Uragas, and other denizens of the higher worlds. Verily, he seemed to the observant eyes of the upper world even as a lord of light rising up in the blue sky. Higher and higher he rose until his head clove the cloud banks and stayed not its course. His golden peaks were naturally of great splendor, and they gave him the appearance of a mountain paved with many a sun. Anjaneya cast his eyes on Mainaka that suddenly rose up before him with nothing to bar its course, and said to himself, "Ah, this is the first obstacle in my way." It rose and rose endlessly, as it were. But Maruti stayed not his wonderfully rapid flight for it. Even as the lord of air, scattering afar the thin clouds, he lightly brushed aside with his mighty chest that monarch of the mountains. In his turn, Mainaka gauged the speed and the might of that monkey hero and was overcome with joy and surprise. Then he came out of the mountain and, in the guise of a mortal, stood before Anjaneya in the sky and spoke to him in words of love and admiration. O best and foremost of monkeys, you have laid yourself to accomplish what no one had dared or will ever dare to do. Rest yourself a while on my peaks. This watery waste was brought into existence by the ancestors of Lord Rama, and now you are bound on his quest. Hence the Lord of the ocean renders you reverence and worship. Gratitude to the benefactor is the ageless law of the world, and we, desirous of following it, offer humble hospitality and pray you to accept it. For the Lord of the ocean has specially deputed me to approach you with this request. This mighty monkey has decided to cross over 100 yojanas of water and comes towards us. Let him rest a while on your slopes and proceed thereafter, strong and refreshed. So, please break your flight a while and rest your weary limbs upon me. The roots and fruits that grow on my slopes are pure, sweet, and fragrant. Partake of them, throw off your weariness, and resume your flight. There is yet another bond between us, well known through the three worlds and approved of by the great and the good. I regard you as the best and foremost of the monkey world, who are matchless in speed and valor. Even an ordinary guest is worthy of respect and reverence of all right-thinking men. It goes without saying that to one who sees into the heart of Dharma, you deserve the greatest honor and respect possible. For you are the darling son of Vayu, one of the foremost of the rulers of the Shining Ones. What is more, you are his peer. Reverence paid to you counts as reverence paid to him, and to you, for whom Dharma has no secret, this needs no saying. So it behooves me to offer worship to you. There is yet another reason for it. During the Krita Yuga, mountains had wings and flew all over, above and below, with the speed of Vayu. They were a source of danger and fear to the gods, the sages, and all creatures, lest they might descend upon them at any moment and crush them to death. Then Indra grew angry with them and smote their wings away with his dread weapon Vajra. I saw him rushing upon me with his raised Vajra to cut me to pieces and gave myself up for lost. Then the Lord Vayu, my noble savior, blew me with resistless force into the ocean, and therefore he stood between me and death, between me and mutilation, a living death. See ye not that he is my Lord, whom I should pay worship and reverence to for all time? So I am bound to offer you honor, his only son. This is the bond that binds us together. This is the best chance that we could ever hope to get for expressing, in a feeble way, the deep debt of gratitude we lie under to the Lord Vayu, I and the Lord Ocean. Accept this service and homage at our hands and gladden our hearts. Rest a while, accept honor, love, and reverence from us, for the very sight of you fills our heart with unspeakable joy. And to him replied Maruti, Lord of mountains, your sweet words give me inexpressible pleasure. I count it enough, this having blessed myself with the sight of you. This is, in my opinion, the sweetest welcome that you could give me. Let no feeling of regret or uneasiness cloud your heart that I do not rest myself upon your hospitable slopes as you would have me do. For the time at my disposal is all too short for the work I have at heart. It spurs me on. Should I stay here as you desire, it is doubtful if I could reach Lanka before sunset. Besides, I have given my word to my mates that I will proceed upon my errand without breaking my flight anywhere. So Maruti touched Mainaka affectionately and thereby accepted his hospitality, and with a glad heart and a smile upon his beautiful lips, he continued his flight through the air. Mainaka and his friend, the Lord of the Ocean, gazed after him with affectionate eyes and sent their blessings to keep him company. Then Anjaneya left them far behind and rose higher into the realms of his father, the Lord Vayu. He looked down with fondness and affection upon the Mount Mainaka below him and coursed through the clear sky with renewed vigor. His flight over the 100 yojanas of waters counts as the first of his redoubtable achievements, and his wonderful solution of the problem that was placed before him by Mainaka is the second in the list. The gods, the Siddhas, and the mighty sages who were delighted witnesses of this feat lauded him to the skies. Indra was mightily pleased with Mainaka and said, Mighty mountain, shining resplendent with your peaks of gold, you have pleased me in no slight measure by your behavior today. From this moment on, have no fear of me. Live on free of danger and dread. We were racked with terrible doubts whether Hanuman would faint and fall into the sea as he took his way across the broad expanse of waters. But the mighty hero seems to gather strength and speed as he goes, fearless and light-hearted. You rendered him timely help, and the precious service that you did to the servant of Lord Rama fills me with boundless joy. The words of the Lord of the Shining Ones put cheer and gladness into the heart of Mainaka, for his dread foe was sweetly disposed towards him. He accepted wonderful boons of Indra and lived thereafter a life of ease and joy. Hanuman left the spot far behind him and sped on his course. Then the Devas, Gandharvas, the Siddhas, and the sages approached Surasa, the mother of the serpents, who shone like the noonday sun in her radiant glory, and said, This monkey hero, the son of Vayu, is endowed with rare effulgence. He takes a flight through the realms of his father over the broad expanse of waters. Do you, for our sake, place an obstacle on your path? Your dreadful fangs and eyes darting flames of fire, your mouth wide as the heavens for us, and your huge bulk like the monarch of the mountains, combined with the form of a terrible Rakshasi, may, when you stand before him, take the heart out of him. For we would once more like to try his strength and mettle. Would he overcome you by strategy, or would he faint and give it up? Thus besought by the gods, Mother Surasa, assuming the huge and frightful form of a Rakshasi, stood in the middle of the ocean, barring the path of Hanuman. All creatures that beheld her quaked in sheer and abject terror. She shouted at him in tones of thunder, The gods have sent you here today as a toothsome delicacy to stay my appetite for a while. I would even send you down my throat. Fall you therein of your own sweet will. To which replied Maruti, his head bent low in reverence over joined palms. Sri Rama, the son of King Dasharatha, had to sojourn for a while in the forests of Dandaka, and with him his brother Lakshmana and his beloved wife Sita. He was absent from his hermitage for some hours on business when Ravana, the king of the Rakshasas, who, out of malice, was ever on the watch to do him an evil, spirited away his beloved wife. And Rama, my beloved Lord, has sent me to take a message to Sita of matchless fame. Now that you are a citizen of his realm, should you not, in duty bound, help him to the best of your might? And is this the way you put it? Well, if you're so minded, I will even come back to you to appease your hunger after having taken news to Rama of the whereabouts of his beloved wife. You have my unbroken word for it. Thereat, Surasa laughed in contempt and said, Ha 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 ha! Verily no one passes me without my consent. This is one of the powers that I have been gifted with. So I see no other way past myself except by going through my mouth, wherever it may take you.